Okay, we are going live, and now one of the most interesting topic is for me is for any attendees I know in the events in Dubai now when we are speaking with other peoples, and we can find that most of projects building new lawyers, and the only question we need, why we need so many lawyers. I think is a better way. Yeah, you can join us, Mattia. Mattia, hello. Yeah, we are starting. Yeah, and you just came in right to main question, and the main question I want to hear your point of views on this question. Why we need so many lawyers? Let's start from Patrizio.
Thanks, Roman. Appreciate being here. Um, well, I think the ecosystem in large has had a lot of growing to do. When Satoshi released Bitcoin, the fundamental problem was consensus driven. So, from a security and decentralization perspective, I think those were the key points of concern when that was launched, particularly taking away that centralization. And I think because of that, a lot of the latency got introduced.
Mm-hmm.
So scalability became a bit of an issue. And as we recall, there were the mining wars. There was a lot of controversy in the beginning on what direction the base blockchain should go towards. And I think the community reached a consensus. Basically, they agreed on a path, and there still to this day is a separation of paths of what base chain should look like. But essentially, I think the popular opinion is base chain focuses on that security and decentralization, where layer 2 focuses on scalability, and then layer 3 is that application layer that removes, that basically abstracts all the noise that users would need to operate intuitively.
Okay. Okay, I heard you. So we are going to Pablo views.
Good. So my view is, the need of layer 2 and layer 3 was born out that the base technology many years back was too slow. Let's face it, was too slow, too expensive. So people started creating layer 2s to do bulk transactions, which were cheaper and faster than the initial protocol. And then, as Patrizio just said, okay, then also the application layers came. Now we also have interoperability layers, layer zeros in this case. And what I see and what I believe in, there are too many blockchains out there. That's definitely also already for a startup a very hard decision to start with. Okay, which protocol do I choose? Still, a lot of protocols are handing out substantial amount of grants to lure in new people. Maybe startups especially are quite fond of that. What I don't believe in any longer is this kind of one-size-fits-all layer. I see more industry-specific layers emerging. So definitely we will see even more protocols emerging in future, but they will be focused on something, right? And specific industries, specific problems, specific communities. And you also see a lot of base layers like Avalanche working exactly towards that goal, that their technology can be replicated very, very easily. So I think the situation we are in today was driven mainly by the needs of the community, cheaper transactions, more transactions. The development has gone onward. Most of the base layers can now process much more transactions than in the early days. So question what the layer 2s will do in future. And yeah, we will definitely see a change there. But I believe this one-size-fits-all base layers will go away. Technology will improve even further. So I think base layers can do much more in future, but more specific.
Okay. Interesting point of view. So we are going to Mattia. Hello, Mattia. What are you thinking
Hi.
about this? Hi.
Thanks for having me. So yeah, I agree with both Patrizio and Pablo. So basically, we heavily need right now layer 2s and layer 3s. So it all came down to trade-offs, because when we speak about layer 2s, we have to do some assumptions, mostly on trust, and of course, it just really come down to different trade-offs in the design that we can decide to take to develop a specific layer 2 or layer 3 solution. Right now, we are witnessing this happening on Bitcoin, with rollups popping out like mushrooms, and many of them took some directions that are not very clear. So they are starting to explore new architectures, and right now, with a possible reintroduction of CAT, we will likely have better bridging, which it will give a substantial boost to the layer 2 ecosystem on Bitcoin. So I think in the near future, what will really matter, it is about interoperability, especially between EVM, SVM, and Bitcoin. These three ecosystems have proven to be the widest used on the market. Right now, for example, many layer 2s, including us, are pivoting from just supporting DVM to multi-VM architectures, because interoperability, again, is key if we want to succeed.
Okay, and what is the main competition? We are talking about L1, L2, L3, and we missed about Layer 0, yeah? So what you thinking about Layer 0 conceptions?
I think Layer 0 is a quite innovative concept. I like the project. I like the direction it's taking. I think they play a really pivotal role in the industry, because they basically are providing developers with ready kits to basically interconnect different chains. But I think we should not just rely on one protocol, because this would be just not fault tolerant, and we need to be fault tolerant if we want to be resilient. I think that it is important that also other protocols start to take the same approach. By the way, for example, we are working on a Bitcoin layer 2, which is trying also to solve the liquidity fragmentation that is heavily impacting Bitcoin right now. So if we consider that we have 24 layer 2s already on mainnet, more than 80 teams working on Bitcoin layer 2s, and 15 Bitcoin native asset standards, which none of them affirmed itself as the asset standard, such as ERC20 on Ethereum. So this will be unmanageable as soon as all the teams deliver their mainnets. And for this reason, we are trying to propose to the industry a standard that is called Smart Bitcoin Native Assets, which is basically a rapid version that is EVM, SVM, and WASM compatible, in order to allow different layer 2s to benefit from a unified liquidity. So I mean, it's a win-win strategy for both, for us and for the ecosystem.
Okay, maybe
Patrizio
and Pablo can add something about this.
No, Matthias has a big point. I mean, I work for a layer 1, which is focused on B2B applications mainly. So we are focused on the travel industry. One of the biggest hurdles is definitely the lack in our industry, not talking about layer 1, 2, 3, is the lack of standards. And this is something I see as well in the Web3 space. So we had some standards at the beginning, but then actually the technology evolved very fast. And as we know, technology evolves exponential. And the more attraction, the more liquidity, and the more value is somewhere in a change, the more projects it adapt. But also, I mean, we are human beings. We love certain things very much. We are in love with our protocols, with our own ideas. We would like to differentiate ourselves as well from others, because that also makes us unique. And I think what we would really need is as Matthias put forward, more standards on different areas like interoperability, token design, so that really this kind of going forward, when we reach mass adoption and the big enterprises are joining into the game, it really is easy for them, because the bigger ones are not that flexible. they need some kind of standards as well. And they don't want to buy into only one protocol, as also Patrizio and Mattia pointed out. So we need this flexibility as well to give to the final users at the end of the day.
Okay, sounds good.
Yeah, on a developer point of view, we have many protocols that have been created to try and solve this problem that both Mattia and Pablo have alluded to. And each protocol from Cosmos to Polkadot, they focus on certain elements of the problem, pockets of the problem. They don't kind of go full circle and address the entire spectrum. And this is something, we on our side have been trying to put together a solution. And I won't say we've addressed the solution, but we're starting. It's a small project called Wallet D. It's an open source SDK that basically the problem on the developer front is from Coinbase all the way down to your lone wolf developers. You've got projects spending over 50% of their resources on back-end engineering. So what happens is your lone wolf projects, they kind of disappear. Over 90% of your projects are going to die tomorrow because there's no sustainability. One SDK, the Bitcoin Dev Kit SDK, when they needed to update Lightning support, they completely disowned the SDK because there was not enough resources to manage. Just on one chain. So essentially, that's something we still, as a community, need to solve. Completely solving the layer 0 problem. But yeah, that's my short answer there.
Okay, it's time for my point of view. As for me, looking at all this market and all these lawyers that comes every day new and new, it's not about mass adoption. For me, it's just a hunting for a venture capital for teams who build it, really. Because for now, we have not some quant steps in developments because all the new lawyers have some minor details that can be compared with them. So next point I'll see about this. For first, yeah, it's hunting for venture capital. Yeah, just we are cool. Give us money. We can provide staking, restaking, building some FDV. Yeah, and who has bigger FDV? That rules the market now. But next step, as I seen, it's just a way of classical business. But when you realize some lawyer, now you need to chase businesses or that comes to your lawyer. Can you prove it or not?
Yes, I mean, we can prove it. I mean, we have 100, more than 200 travel companies which are supporting our chain. 100 of them are validators. But I can tell you it's not easy to onboard Web2 companies, especially in the enterprise business. Let me give you one example. I mean, those for you who were at the Token 2049 in Singapore and saw the Cardano founder talking about midnight, I mean, this is exactly one of the problems we have. I mean, we've done a good job in our industry to work on public, transparent blockchains. But the problem is businesses have secrets. They don't want to have everything on the blockchain on the one hand side. So we need some kind more of added privacy layers. We need private smart contracts and stuff like that. We need a lot of educations as well, because Web3 is complicated for companies, big companies, right? There's also a lot of risks involved. I mean, look at the legal frameworks. I mean, MiCA is great for Europe. Also, Switzerland has good legal frameworks. But look at the SEC in the States. It's a lot of question marks there. So it's risky. I mean, the internal compliance companies, I mean, we've been talking with more than 2,000 travel-related companies around the globe since our founding. And in a lot of companies' hands, if you talk with the CFOs of the companies, it's still, blockchain is crypto, is scam. So that's what happens in a lot of cases, because also, as with every new technology emerging, there are some criminal energies. Okay, that happened. But what we need to prove them is, hey, crypto is not only the only use case, you can also use this technology for a lot of other things. It's sustainability, simple stuff like using a blockchain for time tracking or time devices, putting IoT devices on the chain, and so on and so on. It doesn't have to be even fancy. It's just, it needs, I mean, blockchain is a good technology, especially when you're talking about decentralized industry, supply chain management, travel, for example, or any other industry which are doing this. But what we need to have is first to find the real problem, and then ask ourselves, is blockchain the right tool for that? Because if you are going to hammer a nail into the van, you're also not taking any kind of tool. You take a hammer. So we need this kind of specific, and work backwards actually from the problem to the technology we are employing, especially in the B2B area. But I agree with you. I mean, there was a gold rush. I mean, let's face it, we had our bull runs, and a lot of projects and people were exactly chasing this. And now I think the market is maturing, in my opinion, but it needs a lot of education. That's at least what I see in my space.
Yes, that's the way we choose to provide it online, because we really understand that we need an education, and if we really need a mass adoption, that's the way we can achieve it, not building just another layer, not building just another exchange or bridge or DEX. Yeah, here we need to fight just for UX if you're talking about mass adoption, because some latency, if we're talking about speed of transactions, yeah, it's not cares most of users. Instead Bitcoin, of course.
No, but I think we're on the right track. I mean, as the frameworks are changing, the sentiment is shifting as well. Last time I counted, there are more than 65 industries using blockchain almost on a daily basis. So there are good things. Problem is, and that's what you're alluding to, and also the core of this discussion is, don't we have too many layer ones, right? I mean, the text choice is difficult, and everybody knows that you will not exist only in one layer. You need to be interoperable. But that already from a practical business perspective means some poor CFO or treasury guy in the company needs to handle multiple currencies already, cryptocurrencies. That's already a new process for a lot of companies. They don't have any crypto knowledge in their company. They don't have the tools like custody wallets and stuff like that. So what we need to do as an industry, I think, is to show them what's the way to Web3, maybe going little steps, and also providing them within one layer, whatever layer that is, the whole ecosystem of tooling they will need as well. But also there, I mean, if you go to, I don't know, Token 2049 or any other exposition, you have so many wallet providers, you have so many security providers. So it's kind of a jungle as well. And also sometimes, going back to the early gold rush days of Web3, the price tags are very expensive. One really has to face that.
Yeah, just my 2 cents. It's like pasta, right? You need to boil it, and to know that it's ready, you need to throw it against the wall, and if it sticks, you can serve it. And I mean, my personal experience, we were involved with a core team at Monero, and that was, we got 4 million users out of that protocol. We worked with 700 developers on an open source project that really saved many people's livelihood, from the Canadian truckers that couldn't transact because their banking transactions were blocked, to the wars that happen, both civilly and internationally. That's proved as a use case. On the development front, what's happening is a lot of crap is being produced now, a lot of junk that is coming out. But out of that junk, beautiful concepts specifically on infrastructure side are being produced. And that can only be refined through an iteration or an iterative process. And that will create that mass adoption, whatever comes out at the other end.
Okay, let's hear something from Mattia.
Yeah, coming back to the reputation point that Pablo was expressing about our industry, I think it all came down to the fact that crypto is not pretty well seen in the moment because of pump and dump schemes of meme coins, and all this stuff is not gonna have a good impact on outsiders. So we have to get rid of this. So basically, when Bitcoin native assets have been launched, when BRC20 launched, the best use cases have been just meme coins and let's say shit coins, because this is what they are. We need to really find a real use case for these assets, because otherwise they don't have any meaning to exist. And this is what we are also trying to achieve, basically by making them interoperable. We want to give them more utility than they have right now, because let's face it, the user experience that they are providing right now is very rudimentary, and people doesn't want that. So people just want to trade flawlessly, and importantly, it doesn't want to lose money. And not having DEXs that are very questionable, that allow the trade of these coins, is not going to help our industry. So we need also decentralized entities that select the coins that can be listed and not allow or being like partner, because at the end of the game, if they are willing or if they are not willing, so they are still supporting them, also if not actively. So it's still some form of support. We need to basically have decentralized autonomous organization that moderate what they allow to list. Otherwise, the industry is not going to evolve.
Okay, so the way lawyers choosing to prove their growth, like we know, reborn of Solana was from meme coins bonk, yeah, that they just airdropped to Solana phones owners. It was the hype when all the market of meme coins grows all the last year and continues to grow. Next, it was Tron, yeah, TRX, from fun, Solana mempad, Tron mempad. Okay, how you look on this way of covering attention from the market? Oh, it's not that way that this area need to be growing.
To be honest with you, I've never been a big fan of meme coins, and I never bought any meme coin. I just followed like some developments when, of course, they have been introduced on Bitcoin, but then I just followed that technology more than the market. So I'm not a market-oriented guy. I'm more looking at the tech and how to solve real-world problems with it. So not to speculate.
This is exactly the new narrative, right? I mean, the past 10 years, you have more or less been focused on digital financial assets, speculative stuff like meme coins and so on. But base technology can be used for much more things. Now, the newest buzzwords are RWA, real world assets, RDPIN, and all that stuff. But that's actually a lot of industries are already using blockchain technology, and that comes back to the different layers at the end of the day. And I think there we need more positive examples and more marketing as well to bring more use cases like we are doing with the travel industry to the chain itself, outside of only the financial benefits. I mean, we have proven that blockchain is good for DeFi. I mean, it has its advantages, instant settlement, it's cheaper than credit card fees, it helps against fraud. So there is real value behind that for businesses. I mean, we have in our industry, in the travel industry, we have usually a 1% EBIT margin. Now we have 3% credit card costs, plus 24 billions of fraud and chargebacks every year in credit cards and virtual credit cards. Now imagine by reducing only those 3% by half, you double the EBIT margin. That's a financial advantage. Now you can use the other advantage. I was running IT departments in my former jobs. is you can use the same technology for a lot of other use cases as well. So you don't need all these APIs, you don't need all these different kind of databases. It's the same base technology. If you put it right into the organization and into your industry, you can replace a lot of running systems already. But coming back to your question, Roman, I mean, we are humans and we usually run behind hypes. I mean, how many of you have had investors or companies saying no to you right now because everybody's running behind AI and artificial intelligence right now? So that's the next time. And then it goes down again. That's normal.
Yeah, but it's from point of view of users. But let's think about it from a founder's view. If this can give me some growth, some recognition, and it's a hype on market, it's okay to use it for you or
As
not?
long as you deliver, yes. As long as it's not just a buzzword in your pitch deck, absolutely. And coming back to Mattia's point, as long the other stakeholders in the market also recognize the value behind that and not are only chasing new narratives, because that's also, let's face it, what's happening now is some exchanges, they are only listing some tokens which bring them a lot of new users, which is their business model, because they earn out of the wallets, out of the transactions, and they are making decisions based on user growth on their end and commissions they can get versus the value of a project it may have. So I think it's, as Mattia pointed out, very important that somebody in the market or some people in the market have a closer look what's being pushed forward as a narrative.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's likely very funny.
Maybe somebody joined us just 5 minutes ago and finds that we are just talking about meme coins in the topic about lawyers. Yeah, but we are talking. Is it okay to use meme coins just as a tool to cover attention for a new lawyer? And we know a lot of cases about this. So let's get back to lawyers. I have one covered question. If you can choose only one lawyer to operate all other life, yeah, what do you choose? It's a
So
covered question.
I'm biased. I have my own layer one, so when I love traveling, of course, I would use Camino.
Yeah. Okay, Patrizio.
Yeah. So for me, the developer is the storyteller. From Satoshi down to this day, that they task the code to write a certain story. So that starts with layer zero. That kind of the foundation is critical in order for that that final layer to be completely beautiful and on board the next amount of people. And I mean, let's be honest. People don't go Web 2. People don't go around asking each other, what DB do you use, MariaDB, MySQL, or whatnot. No one cares about stuff that gets abstracted. It's about that final piece. So yeah, that's just my viewpoint.
Yes. The only thing is for me, if I'm just a user, what I can to fill in when I'm working with something like lawyers. Yeah, it's a quick and correct work of any apps that I'm using. Yeah, it's a fast transaction when I send in some money or tokens and cheap fees. This is the only thing. Most of things that is necessary for me. All others, it's just minor solutions. Maybe
And maybe
Mattia.
usability, right, Roman?
Yeah,
It
yeah.
must be simple.
But about usability, we talking more about UX problems. It's not a problems of lawyers, yeah. So if you're talking just from lawyers, it's I want to send my money quickly. Yeah, for example, yeah, where we have a hype of Solana meme coins in April. Yeah, when I can send for a week from my Phantom wallet my Solana, and I need to find any solutions to import my keys in another wallet to try and to send my money. That's the problem for me. Maybe Mattia can add something about this.
I have bias, of course. If I have to choose a layer to use, I'd say Zk layer. We are building on top of Bitcoin. This means we fully inherit Bitcoin equivalent security properties. We are building following a rollup architecture, and it's worth to be mentioned that we will be the first ever Bitcoin native Zk rollup, meaning that we verify the state transition zero knowledge proof directly on Bitcoin. We are going to do this in case Unpacked is going to make it, of course, using natively Unpacked, but also in case it's not going to make it by using Bitcoin pipes. That is basically an hard-coded covenant within a cryptographic function that allows to achieve the same outcome that Unpacked would allow being soft forked on Bitcoin, but without any soft fork. So basically, we are bringing Bitcoin, Ethereum-like programmability and UX on Bitcoin.
Okay, something good. But we have two different marketing strategies. From Mattia, the color building, you are going to the red ocean now, because fighting in the colors, it's a really red ocean, yeah, especially if you want to achieve some venture money and achieve some newcomers. Pablo chose the way to go into blue ocean because it's really very specific niche, yeah, when we choose traveling, but this niche is very huge. So for onboarding businesses that need to use this blockchain, it's a understandable way why to use, especially this lawyer to move it to blockchain their businesses. How do you think, from these all two questions, how much lawyers will be live just in 2 years from all this born now?
I mean, last time I looked, there were over 1,000 different layer one blockchains around, and every year we are adding 30 to 50 new protocols with slight tweaks and a little bit of innovation sometimes. I think there's still a window of 1 to 3 years to build more infrastructure. But then we are done with the infrastructure level, I would say, my personal opinion. And then we need to focus more on application and use cases. And that will also be the focus of the venture capital. And as you pointed out, I mean, there's a lot of interest of venture capital in the moment for infrastructure, be it modern, more private, more secure, more transactions, more specific. So depending on the company's strategy and portfolio itself and what they usually invest. But I think there will be a point in time, and that will be in the next 2 or 3 years, where everybody will say, hey, we have enough infrastructure. I think we don't need another one. It will be very, very hard to marketeer, except you really crack something. That's a little bit my point of view. I mean, the industry-specific approach for us just makes sense because specific industries have specific requirements, also on the legal environment, trust environment, for instance. I mean, when we started with the project, of course, we had to look at make or buy decisions. Do we use an existing protocol or not? And one of the, for instance, in our industry, one of the often asked questions, who does validate our transactions? And we said, we don't know. It's an open network, it's decentralized. Yeah, but that could be anybody. We don't want that. So also to increase trust, we said, okay, we are not going to create a private blockchain, which does have been an option. We want to have it open because some of the applications need that as well. But we wanted at least to steer the community of validators. So we introduced a very, very Swiss democratic system. Every company working with us, even if you are Lufthansa, TUI, all the big multinationals who work with us, they're only allowed to run one validator with one same stake, everybody. So there's no slashing with us. And that means everybody has the same voting rights. So everybody's equal. Doesn't matter if you're a big player or a small player, because that's also something a lot of, sometimes we put a blind eye to how really decentralized are certain layers and how much value is or power is accumulated for only a few players, right? And this is also a hard thing to do. And then depending on the businesses, what we needed most was predictability on the gas fees. I mean, we are a low margin business. If we would start, what we do, minting NFT tickets for flights and events and stuff like that, which is great because you can interchange them, it's more secure, you can scan them, they are burned, so you can copy them, blah, blah, blah. But the problem there is if today an NFT minting costs me X, and tomorrow it costs me X plus 10%, and the day after tomorrow X plus 200%, it's not predictable. How do you budget that? So they need security on that end as well.
Yeah, and this is the issues we face it. So maybe Patrizio can add something about my question. How many lawyers will be live just in a few years? I'm not thinking about in 2 years, but okay, we can thinking about Cardano, yeah, that lives from 2017, yes, I know, yeah, but I'm not sure that they very good developing now, yeah, because every bull market it's interesting and hype about something new solutions that brought on the market. So, Patrizio, how much blockchains will live in 1 year, right? When our bull run will finish in end of 2025?
Yeah, it's a tough one. I'll just go by what I've seen. So, you know, the bull run's always a massive distraction. We tend to love the bear market where building can be fully focused on the next use case. And currently, what we're predicting is that because so much technical debt exists in the market, I'm talking about tens of thousands of engineers are currently investing time. They're being paid to live in Git repos. They are getting paid to look at breaking changes on blockchain updates, forks, soft forks, and so forth. Now that is an immense waste of time. Where engineers are literally just reading through updates and then making those updates happen. So essentially, we've become decentralized to our detriment. We are updating the same update hundreds of thousands of times, which sure, you know, for the focus on security, but it's at our detriment. So essentially, my prediction is remove back-end technical debt. A tool that will do that, and then what will happen? You'll start to see a shift in the abstraction layer, layer 3, and once you start seeing that shift in usability, because people are they want one thing, and that is convenience. If you make things super convenient for them, and it's attractive, they will jump in on it, and that's what I see. So I'll rate layer 3 the abstraction side of things.
Okay, understand. So we listen to Mattia and go into our last question for today.
So I think we have to consider something, and also reading at Vitalik's blog, he's touching this topic very, very closely. If we talk about layer 2 and layer 3 solution, it all came down to the standards that they will provide, because the far we go, the more layer 2s are going to disappear, because they just met the criteria that Vitalik suggested, by the way. Right now, many Ethereum layer 2s, namely rollups, let's say are at the stage 1. But I think before the next bull run, we should start to meet the requirements of the stage 2. Coming down to layer 1s, it's not easy to make a prediction, because I mean, if there are not any very relevant breakthroughs in technology, there is no relevance for new layer 1. We have many of them. We have Solana, we have Bitcoin, we have Ethereum. So we don't really need new layer 1s. That doesn't bring anything new to the table. It more comes down to improving the state of layer 2s and having them surpassing the current phase and approaching the next bull run. Because if we also look at previous bull runs, many chains that existed before, they are just ghost chains, so they don't exist anymore, or they don't have any activity, and this applies perfectly also to layer 2s. I think it's not easy to make predictions, but we can instead look at how it evolves. And I think the talks that Vitalik shared in its futures series in its blog is very interesting. So we should definitely look at it.
Okay, so the last question I have, it's a question from me and from the site. I think interesting most of attendees. In January this year, I was in Davos in Switzerland. Yeah, it's a World Economic Forum. Yeah, a lot of side events about crypto, as usually. Yeah, and on one of the discussional panels was a guy from Zurich Blockchain University. Yeah, they provided from 2014 some educational, some consultancy about cryptocurrency and uses in our country. As we know, Switzerland is very involved in cryptocurrency. Some tubes you can pay in crypto in McDonald's, some your bills. So it looks like that we have a great mass adoption. And I'll come to him and ask you, look, how do you think when this mass adoption covers Switzerland? And he answered me that really don't care. Most of the guys in Switzerland looking at the cryptocurrencies as just a speculation assets. They don't care about mass adopters. From this long story, I have a last question to all of us. Of course, all of you have some your own lawyers, but if you're looking from the side of users and we want to get more mass adoption, can you tell me, it's not financial advice, but most prominent lawyers, 5 most prominent lawyers, without yours? Yours, we know. You can answer. Of course, it's Camino network. Yeah, if you're starting from Pablo and choose, but it's 5 that it will be bad to look at these lawyers with tokens. Sorry, microphone. Your mic not working.
Sorry about that. I think I'm the worst person to ask for advice because my crypto spendings look like the Spanish flag. I'm Spanish, so it's everything is red and yellow. So definitely not recovered from the last crash. Now, but I think if you're looking, because I'm also living in Switzerland, what you are referring to, the ones who have most trust is definitely in Bitcoin and Ethereum at the moment. And then there are some other protocols following, which I will not mention. But the problem there is a little bit with this store of values as they were initially designed. There are too much of them. I mean, 2.5 million cryptocurrencies exist or something like that. So there's this jungle. So I think we need to clean that up. There's also stable coins, which is more interesting for doing really stable business at the moment. And there's a whole lot of CBDC coming. So digital money, yes. Question crypto going onwards. Yeah, I think we will see there less and less crypto projects going forward, especially in the next 5 years. That's my prediction.
Okay, this is your answer. We accept it. No worry.
And my compliance officer will kill me if I give some kind of shilling here. So I'm definitely not facing her.
I'm always fighting for 2 sides. I'm also a finder, and I'm always caring about simple users that need to come here. And as we talk in the start of our conversation, yes, that we are talking about educational. That's why we need to fight with these views from both sides, and they better
If I can
understand.
say that, I think it's exactly very, very dangerous if we, who have been in the space and people are looking for us for guidance, if we say do this and this and this. The most important thing in our space, I think, is educate yourself. It's your money, it's your risk, and this is something people need to understand. And if people would have understood that earlier, maybe the legal frameworks and the situation we are in as industry would have been a little bit better. But they got lured into by a lot of key opinion leader, crypto influencers who said, hey, get rich, get to the moon, 10, 100x. And this is the narrative you really need to leave, I believe.
And really, for sure, it's the best answer that I can get from all this topic. So, guys, if you approve this, if you agree with this, we can finish on this answer and going back.
They also have tough compliance officers, I see.
Okay, so our 45 minutes is finished. It goes very fast. Time just flies. It was a very interesting conversation. So just few words from each of you to our attendees for this bull run. What you can wish to all of them, and we finished. Okay, I can help Pablo. Pablo told us that you need to care about your financial decisions. Check all are you doing.
Maybe to add to that, I think what was at the beginning when Bitcoin and Ethereum started, everybody thought a little bit this is store of value, which can be forever without the influence of the external world, right? And this is also something, whenever there is a bull run or a market cycle or a hype cycle, people need not only to look at the technology, which we have been discussing, which we all agree there is a lot of good technology out there, and there will be more innovative technology being built, like for instance by CK Layer. And there are a lot of bright people out there building that, like from the development community, but we cannot lose the view on the external factors, wars, gas prices, bad financial data from the US election coming up. This all will influence either for the pro or the bad, the whole bull run. So I think what we definitely need is not only education on the certain project or coins somebody wants to invest, but also have like a little bit of a macro view on the world itself, like with any financial decision you make.
Okay. Patrizio, Mattia, just few words because they're going out of time and need to go to a next discussional panel.
Yeah, to mention.
No, go for it.
Okay, to mention the 5 protocols that you asked before, I'd say Bitcoin, of course, Ethereum, they are standard choice, but also Litecoin, because it's basically Bitcoin on steroids. Litecoin supports Mimblewimble, which is a very interesting upgrade that will be also implemented on Bitcoin. Of course, Solana, and I close the 5 with Cosmos, because I see a huge potential in WebAssembly and how the Cosmos WASM-based virtual machine pulled above. So I'd say these 5 layers.
Yeah, and just short remind that it's not a financial advice. It's just a prominent lawyers that you need to check all their ecosystems, for example, to make your decisions. And final speech from Patrizio, few words, and we are finished.
Yeah, definitely not financial advice. Thanks for that, everyone. I just personally find very interesting how different layers or at least blockchains interact. For example, I found Monero to be like a hedge against uncertainty, which I've always found that very interesting. But Solana's activity has been very interesting too, to see. I think it eclipses Ethereum quite significantly. Just on an activity, a user activity perspective. especially even though their centralized approach was very controversial. That has been very interesting, and other chains like Arbitrum and Optimism have also piqued my interest. So very keen to see those projects, how they impact and contribute towards open source and general use cases.
Okay, thank you guys so much. It's our first virtual edition, and we have a great conversation with different point of views. And I was really glad to see you here. Sorry for my English. I'm just sleeping a few hours today. As an organizer, we make a lot of work to make this real. So thank you all, guys. See you later.
Thank you very much for having us.
Thank you for having us. Bye.
Thank you.
Yeah,
Bye-bye.
bye-bye, guys. Have a nice day.